Greetings! In today's video, I'll be taking a look at the newest colors from the Roman Szmal Aquarius watercolor paints range. This brand of professional paints is a recent addition to what is available to purchase easily, and by that I mean available on Jackson's website. I've mentioned Jackson's many times and it's still the best option to purchase European paints and brushes. The shipping to Canada is one of the best. It's super affordable. The Roman Szmal Aquarius watercolor range used to have 140 colors available, until it was expanded to 165 colors not long ago. That's 25 new colors, many of them being unique to this range. I'll be taking a close look at those new colors to give you an idea of how awesome they are. I received the new paints in this tidy little tray. The pans were fitting quite snugly, but that's with the wrappers. Without them, they fit very well in the tray. These paints tend to be on the softer side, so they often stick to the wrappers. I didn't film this process, but I unwrapped all the pans except for the protective film and put them in the freezer for 5 minutes. It was much easier to unwrap the paints after that. I made sure to label the pans with a Sharpie pen, and I also wrote the names of the colors on the tray under each pan. So these are the colors that were in the range before adding the new colors. It's hard to imagine, looking at these, that there was much to add. I'll be going through the related color ranges and show what was added to them with the new colors. This is the official swatches for the new colors. The first color family I'll look at is the oranges. The range offered 5 colors that would fit as oranges before, and 5 more colors were added to them. That's a great boost, and the new oranges are lovely. The first new orange is named Golden Yellow, and it is made from the pigment PY181. It is a very vibrant color, relatively opaque, and with excellent light fastness. As far as I can say, Roman Szmal is the only brand that offers this pigment. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The second orange is named Golden Orange, and it is made from the pigment PO62. It's another vibrant color, slightly opaque and with excellent light fastness. This color is quite common within other ranges. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The third orange is named Aquarius Orange. It's enough of a new color that it doesn't have an assigned pigment number yet, so for now it's pigment orange non-available. It's a beautiful color and it looks transparent. This color is possibly the same as Winsor & Newton's transparent orange, but that's just a hypothesis. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The fourth orange is named Transparent Pyrrole Orange, made from the pigment PO71. It's a more reddish orange, transparent, and with great light fastness. This color is also quite common within other ranges. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The fifth and last orange is named Deep Orange, made from the pigment PO64. It's a reddish orange, slightly opaque and with great light fastness. This color can be found in a few other ranges, including My Mary Blue and Schminke. This is the dry, scanned and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Again, here's the previous oranges offerings from Roman Szmal, and here's the new colors. They bring a lot of new variety, with many welcome qualities such as transparent paints. The next family of color we'll look at is the pink and magenta colors. This is what was in the regular range, and these are the new colors. The first new pink is a magenta named Quinacridone Fuchsia, made from the pigment PR202. It's a slightly purplish pink, transparent and with excellent light fastness. It's a fairly common pigment and can be found in many other brands. I like to consider it as the cool red in a split primary triad selection. This is the dry, scanned and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The second new pink is Potter's Pink, made from the pigment PR233. It's a muted pink with strong granulation, opaque and with excellent light fastness. This pigment can be hard to re-wet once the paint has dried, but this paint is very easy to re-wet. It has a bit of a color shift as it dries, but overall it's a lovely shade of muted pink. This is the dry, scanned and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Again, here's the previous pink and magenta offerings from Roman Szmal, and here's the new colors. The new magenta brings in a unique hue to this color family, and the Potter's Pink is a unique color on its own. The next family of color we'll look at is the moody two-tone purples. This is what was in the regular range, and these are the new colors. The first new color is named Misty Morning and is made from the pigments PG50 and PV19. It's a muted purple with variations between the granulating green pigment and the smooth magenta color happening naturally in a wash. It's a color unique to the Roman Szmal range. This is the dry, scanned and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The second new color is named Shadow Violet Light, made from the pigments PB36, PB29 and PR176. The name refers to another color present in the range, simply named Shadow Violet. The two colors have a single pigment in common, the PB29, and end up with similar colors when mixed. This is the dry, scanned and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Again, here's the previous moody purples, and here's the new colors. The new purples are not that different, but I can't say no to a nice granulating color mix. The next color we'll look at is the one gray of this paint edition. There wasn't any gray per se in the regular range, so this new color is unique. We can get a gray by diluting a black paint, but a real gray at full strength can be useful. This is what was in the regular range, and this is the new color. The new color is named Aquarius Gray and is made from the pigment PW6 Colin 1. It's a warm gray with some opacity. we are all familiar with the regular PW6 pigment, which is titanium white. Of the two whites often included in sets, it's the more opaque of the two. The pigment PW6-1 is associated with this gray hue and also with the color known as buff titanium. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. And again, here's the black or gray colors from the regular range, and here's the new gray paint. The next family of color we'll look at is the blues. This is what was in the regular range, and these are the new colors. The new additions bring two more blues in the range. The first new blue is named Aquarius Cobalt Blue and is made from the pigment PB72. This pigment is new to the range. There wasn't any other blue that used this specific pigment before in the Roman Szmal range. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The second new blue is named Cobalt Blue Deep, made from the pigment PB74. It has a lovely granulation. It's a much warmer blue than the previous one. The first new blue leaned more towards green, while this one leans more purple. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Again, here's the previous blues, and here's the new blues. The next color we'll look at is a teal color. This is the teal that was in the regular range, and this is the new one. It's very rare to find a paint range that has two teals. The new teal is named Cobalt Sea Blue and is made from the pigment PB28. It's a gorgeous color, close to a cyan but more yellow. This is a dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. And again, here's the previous teal and here's the new one. The next color is the one new green. This is what was in the regular range, and this is the new one. With so many greens in the range before, it's amazing they found a new one to add in. The new green is named Sap Green Light and is made from the pigments PY110 and PG7. The regular sap green is a mix of PY150 and PG7, so the green pigment in the mix stays the same and the yellow changes. This new color is more muted than the original. It's quite vibrant as it goes on the paper, but seems to dry to a more muted and natural green. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch that I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. And here's the previous greens, and here's the new green. I could have kept this next color as a part of the greens, but it's such a unique shade of green that I wanted to showcase it separately. It's a variant of Perylene Green. This is the regular Perylene Green, and this is the new one. This new Perylene Green is simply named Perylene Green Deep and is made from the pigment PBK32. The common Perylene Green is made from the pigment PBK31. This special new one is unique to the Roman Szmal range. It's a slightly more yellow variant of the regular Perylene Green. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch that I painted, and how it compares to the product image. And again, here's the common Perylene Green, and here's the new one. The next family of color we'll look at is the browns. This is what was in the regular range, and these are the new colors. The new additions bring 3 more browns in the range. The first new brown is named Monte Amiata Burnt Sienna and is made from the pigment PBR7. It's a really nice brown. We have seen a few times the raw or natural sienna version of this color, but it's the first time I see a burnt sienna version. The pigment is the common PBR7, but it's one of those pigments that can come in a lot of different hues. This is the dry scanned and color corrected swatch that I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The second new brown is named Aquarius Brown, made from the pigment PBR11. It's a very granulating and technically the same pigment as Daniel Smith's Luna Earth paint. It's an interesting pigment because it's not very nuanced. It stays the same hue from mass tone to complete dilution. The granulation is strong and that gives the paint a great texture. This is the dry scanned and color corrected swatch that I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The third new brown is named Indian Red, made from the pigment PR101. It is technically a red pigment, but so muted that it's often included with the other earth tones. It is also opaque and a very rich color. This is the dry scanned and color corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Again, here's the previous browns, and here's the new browns. The next 2 colors we'll look at are these 2 very muted reddish brown colors. They are very similar to the Caput Mortuum color that was already in the range. The first new color is named Hematite Violet Shade and is made from the pigment PR102. This is a dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. The second color is named Hematite Brown Shade, and is also made from the pigment PR102. The 2 new colors are very similar between themselves, and also very similar to Caput Mortuum. The difference is subtle. This is a dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. And again, here's Caput Mortuum, and here's the new colors. The last family of color we'll look at is a bit difficult to sort out. There weren't any similar colors in the Roman Szmal range before. These last 5 colors are all earth pigment colors and are named Lazurite, Vivianite, Malachite, Glauconite, and Goethite. Lazurite is a color made from the lapis lazuli stone. As blue as the stone can be, it's actually a very arduous process to get a blue paint that looks like the stone. It's also incredibly expensive. What we tend to find more easily in terms of pigment and paints is a grayer, lighter blue color. The main issue with this variant of the pigment is that paints made from it can be very hard to re-wet. It is not the case with this version though, as the paint was easy to re-wet. It will stay a soft, pale grey blue, but that can be quite useful on its own. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch that I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Vivianite is another blue stone, but it is much darker and muted. This color is also referred to as blue ochre. It's a very pretty dark blue-gray with great granulation. It's one of my favorite pigments, so I was very excited to see that Roman Szmal had included it in this new release. This is a dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Malachite as a stone is a very vibrant blue-green stone. As a paint, it's a softer green with a lean more towards the yellow. It's not exactly new. Daniel Smith once had a tube version of this paint. However, storing this paint in metal is a bad idea, as the mix of pigment, moisture, and metal makes for a chemical reaction that will corrode the metal. It's part of the reason why I'm not sure I want to set these pans in a metal palette. Just for that one color. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Gloconite is the only one of these 5 colors that has a pigment number at the time of me saying this. It's made from the PG23 pigment. The paint is a soft, muted yellow-green color. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch that I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Goethite is a nice brown color with a lot of granulation. It is also known as brown ochre. The granulating particles are dark and settle together in contrast to the more yellow base color of this paint. This is the dry, scanned, and color-corrected swatch that I painted, and this is how it compares to the product image. Again, here's the 5 special colors together. And that's it! We are done with the close-up look at the colors. Here's the scan of all the swatches together. Overall, these paints are all absolutely gorgeous. There is a lot of variety in terms of opacity, vibrancy, and hue. They complement the regular range so well and bring in many unique colors that are sure to get us pigment nerds all hyped up. I'll share the scan of my chart on my Patreon at patreon.com/fbolt. If you want to purchase some of these lovely colors, I'll have links to them in the description below. For most of us, it's easy to get them from Jackson's, as they ship to many countries at a great price. I also have Jackson's to thank for sending me these lovely paints to try and review. Are there any paints from these 25 recent editions that speak to you particularly? Which one would you grab first? Let me know in the comments below. Take care, bye bye.